Welcome to Sun and Star Farm. These are the plants that I need to plant. This is a apple tree. I've got a couple of berry plants that need to be planted. These are some of my winter crops that need to be planted. They're looking a little rough. We had a freeze and I got them in. Ooh, honeybee, leave me alone. I got them inside before they completely froze, but they do have damage. So I'm gonna have to clip leaves and stuff before I plant them. This is the garden. Don't mind the cardboard, it's everywhere. During that storm, the wind blew my cardboard around. Ooh, lizard. Let's see if you can see it. Where'd you go? There you are. Oh, there's an even bigger one right there. Where'd he go? Where is he? Where's the pool? There. They're living in that cardboard. It's keeping them safe. Whoops. See that big old guy right there? I am in zone 9. Where's she at? There she is. Those are chameleons, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm horrible on remembering what lizards are what. Anyway, my pile of cardboard is getting low, and that all got blown during the storm that we had. So I'm in the process of getting more of it laid down. You can see it all back there. And I'm working on bringing wood chips up as I work on the garden. I'm in cleanup mode. It's January 1st. So I'm out here, everything that got demolished by our Arctic blast, which was all of my summer crops that were still growing. I got all of the lima beans and the long beans pulled off the trellis. I got over here on this trellis, I got all of the squash plants pulled out. I'm in the process of cleaning out beds. I just finished cleaning this one out. I'm gonna plant my beets in here. Yeah, I know I'm planting things extremely late. We're just coming into winter, but the forecast for the next 2 weeks is in the 70s. This weather is so weird. We went from 70s and 80s to 14 degrees for about a week. We stayed in the freeze zone and then jumped right back up into the 70s again. So some stuff did survive the freeze, which I was really surprised. My bee balm, which it survives pretty much everything, so I wasn't really worried about the bee balm. But my white dandelions, they're white Japanese dandelions. They're beautiful when they go into bloom, but the plants are loving this weather. I did lose my Manzula, my Italian dandelion. That's what this is. So, but I'm gonna come out and clean this all up. Yeah. Oh, look. Well, some of it survived. I've got new plants to replant, but I gotta come out and clean all of this out. My Brussels sprouts do have frost damage on the leaves, you can see, but I have baby Brussels sprouts and the plants survived. This top stuff is nice, soft, green, and it's growing. I'm gonna have to look and see if I should cut the burned leaves off or leave them, since there's Brussels sprouts at the base of the leaves. I've never grown Brussels sprouts. This is the first time. I honestly thought I was going to lose them. But nope, they survived. So, of course, I lost my peppers, which I knew I would lose. I did not get time to come out to cut my peppers off my plants because of work. It was right before Christmas, and I was slammed, and so I wasn't able to come out. But I plan on cleaning this bed out. This one, for the most part, is cleaned out. I had planted leaf lettuce, and it was doing good. And of course, I didn't cover it. I just ran out of time prepping my livestock. But I've noticed that it didn't all die. I've got new leaves coming up on some of it. So I'm going to leave the ones that look like the leaves are going to come back. But I'm going to go back through and replant seeds out here. We're supposed to have rain tomorrow. So I'm trying to get this reseeded, get my beets planted. My parsley took a massive hit. My parsley was waist high and it was just thick and gorgeous. But I lost all of it, but it didn't die. I have young parsley still coming up on it. My echinacea, of course, that kind of dies back in the winter anyway. But I do have leaves, so my echinacea will be fine. More weeds. This is salad burnt. I came through and trimmed that back because it pretty much was all fried. It was huge too. But I got babies coming up, so it survived. It just took a hit. My massive amount of lights that I had to finish putting out and around to where they belong. I'm trying to figure out which ones work and which ones don't. That's horehound. That survived. And then broadleaf sage right here. That survived. So those are just a couple of things that survived in the garden. I have some absinthe that's in front of that very last brick that survived too. But there's a lot of weeds in this garden. I need to come in here and weed and clean out. And then I plan on planting kale over here in this blank spot. I have honeybee. I do have the vegetables that are in my flats that I need to plant. If we get risk of any frost, I will come out and cover. The only reason I didn't cover, and I took all of that stuff inside the house. The only reason I didn't cover to save what I had planted was the temperature dropped to 14. Nothing I would have covered would have, it would have still have died because of the temperatures being way below. It was a hard freeze. It wasn't just a frost. We normally only get like a few frosts. We normally don't get a hard freeze. But the weather has gotten ridiculously weird. I do have some onions that took a hit, but they should be fine, the roots. I still got some green leaves popping up, so they will stay there. Those are volunteer onions from the onions that I had planted last spring. I didn't get real big bulbs, but I did get medium size. This bed, I need to come and cut the last of the sweet potato vines out of it. Everything below, there's no big sweet potatoes. It's just roots. So I want to leave the roots in the ground and see if they re-root in the spring and see if I can get a sweet potato harvest that's worth trying. I don't want to spend money on slips because I didn't get anything from the slips. I think the drought hindered. The plants grew beautiful. I mean, shoot, the vines even climbed up that. But I didn't get really anything but fingerling type sized potatoes. So I'll try it again, but I'm just going to leave the roots in and let it reroot itself and see how we do. So that this area isn't going to get anything, but I'm going to throw some hay on top of it just to insulate it and add some mulch. I don't think I'm going to plant anything in front of the trellises. I may plant carrots over here. I have not had luck with carrots, but I've got these short little fat stubby carrot seeds that I want to try and see if I have better luck with them. I also will be planting some radishes. I've got kohlrabi and turnips that I need to start that I did not start in cans in the house. My flower garden, it took a smacking. I'm sure most of this stuff is our perennials. We'll see if they come back. I heard they die back, but they come back, so we'll see. I had elephant ears in the back that have turned into mush. I'm going to come back and clean up the gooey leaves and see. I do have the coreopsis seems to thrive in this type of weather because I didn't get a hit on that at all, which I'm surprised. The safflower seems to be doing okay. I knew I'd lose the marigolds. What is this? This is giardia. There's some squishy leaves in there, but I think it'll be okay. I lost my calendula, which I figured I would. Something was over here in digging, and so where that big dig spot is, the plants I had there are gone. Foxglove. Oops. Sorry, y'all. Oops, as I do it again. Holy crud. The foxglove, I'm not sure if it'll come back. It looks like there's some baby growth down there. So I'm going to carefully trim the mushy stuff out of there and see if I can save that. My poor rose lost all of its leaves. I'm not going to do any trimming on that at this time of year. Poor rose. It was just starting to bud up too for winter. But yeah, it's pretty much just crispy leaves. Back here I have I don't know what this is. I know it's a flower and I just don't know what it is. So I'll be curious to see what it is. This was a canna. We'll see if that survives. Elephant ear. So I need to trim that stuff back and see what it does. My elderberry survived. So hopefully I'll get elderberries this year. I gotta make an extra effort to make sure I keep this watered. It was this tall. Ouch. Ooh, I hate those Japanese beetles. They pinch. These were this tall last year. That's how tall they grew in one season. Had flowers on them and berries were starting, and then that drought hit and I did not keep it watered well enough and the temperatures got too hot, and unfortunately it fried my poor little elderberry. I thought I had lost it, but then I had a whole bunch of babies that came up at the end of summer, and it's got quite a few youngsters down here. So I am optimistic that, look, it's got more babies down there. So yay. I'm going to trim the branches off of this. I left the branches there so I knew where it was planted. I have a bad habit of coming and pulling things out, not realizing it. And this was my lemon tree. we'll see if it survived. The branches are still green, so I have hopes that it'll come back. I know my lemon and lime came back last year that I had planted in the side yard after we had that horrible freeze that lasted a really long time. So my fingers are crossed that it will survive and come back, but we'll see. If not, I'll buy another one and plant it again and see where it goes. I do have some beautiful dandelions that are coming up in the yard. And I had some gladiolas that were coming up along the fence over here. I need to get the rest of this fence pulled and move that white fence and connect it over here to this pole and reinforce this. The wire goes from there to that corner post. Saint has learned that he can step on this and jump over it. So my goal for 2023 is to have a successful garden and to clean it up so it doesn't look so rough. My hopes with me being at home working that I can eke out a little bit more time in order to have my vision come to life. It's definitely been interesting. This is the beginning of year 3 with the gardens. First garden started with this small garden back here and the center square box of my garden beds. And then the next year I built all of those garden boxes and put up the fence to keep the dogs out. And it's just PVC pipe and chicken wire. It wasn't real expensive to do. That's why I did it, because it was cheap. And it's holding up pretty good. Everybody was like, oh, it won't hold up a whole year. I want to say the fence is, God, I know it's got to be at least a year, if not 2. But it used to just block off that section there, and this was all open. And then I extended it to include this area. I had cattle panels that went across these T-posts to trellis tomatoes, but I lost all of my tomatoes because of the drought. So I really didn't get tomatoes at all. I think I got maybe 4 tomatoes for the whole year, and I had something like 60 tomato plants, 80 tomato plants, I don't remember, that I had planted, and yeah, no such luck. This year I'm not doing as many tomatoes, and I'm actually going to plant them in this front bed right here in the center. I've done my peppers here 2 years, so it's time to switch it out to something different. I'm not going to grow as many pepper plants this year. I'm just going to do a jalapeno for my husband and then some sweet peppers for myself for salads and stuff. I am going to utilize the side yard where all of the farm animals are to do some of my more hardy vining crops on trellises to provide the livestock shade over there, and to free up my trellises for things that I want to grow, like my beans and cucumbers, which I'll grow over here. But I think like watermelons and squashes, the smaller squashes, I'm going to plant over there because I think they will be okay over there. I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't work. You know, I'm out some squash. I'm the only one in the house that eats squash. So I do want to plant some zucchini, and I'll probably plant it in that pepper bed where the hot peppers are, and then move my hot peppers maybe to the back bed. This year I didn't use that back center bed for anything. I just stayed weeds. So I do have pig compost that I will be adding to the beds to amend them. So I'll have that. But anyway, this is my very grubby looking garden, to say the least. I don't even have words for it. It looks trashy. So, but I'm working on getting mulch from the front. I have a whole thing of mulch to bring back and spread in the pathways to cover the cardboard. The cardboard's to keep the grass from coming up. And it's a great way to get rid of cardboard when you get a ton of it, like I do, because of having animals and getting Chewy's boxes every 2 weeks. It blocks, it breaks down, it's in the walkway, so it doesn't affect my food. But it helps keep the grass down, keep some of the workload manageable. So I will be running some more mulch today. But I do want to get my beets planted right now, and some of my seeds planted that I plan on planting, just for the simple fact that we're getting rain tomorrow, and I'd like to have the stuff planted so it could benefit from the rain. Plants do so much better from rain than they do from hand watering. So I will be taking my spiked trellises and putting them into red pots. I want to plant sweet peas, not the kind you eat, the kind you smell, so that they can start to get acclimated. They take a really long time to start. They do not do well planted in pots and transplanted. I'm also going to take one of my tomato cages and turn it upside down and stick into one of those red pots. And I'm going to plant my eating peas that are in that one flat and use the pot, so that way I can, if it gets cold, I can bring it inside, because the peas are not frost hardy. But if I bring them in the house, I'll still have peas. And I've been picking peas out of those pots for probably about 2 weeks now, prior to the freeze kind of smushing my poor plants. So I've been picking peas off of them and eating them, and they're really good. They're a short little sweet pea, and I just pick them and eat the pods. So yeah, you can see some peas on there. Let's see if I can zoom it in. You see the little pea pods. So I'm going to do that. I have some passion fruit that needs to be planted in a pot with a trellis, so that way I can move that inside and I don't have to worry about it dying during a freeze. I have a peach tree that's dormant right now that needs to be planted. I'm not sure if I'm going to plant it now or if I'm going to wait and plant it in the spring and just haul it back and forth into the garage whenever it gets cold. So I don't know. So much stuff to do. I start to get overwhelmed when I think about it. So I am going to hop off of this. I hope you all have a very happy new year, and tell me what you're growing in your garden, or even if you can grow anything right now. I know some of y'all are under snow, so wish me luck, and hopefully I will do one video a week on the garden. Most of my videos are going to be pretty much my livestock, but I do want to do a video once a week. So hopefully the next video will be with this garden completely cleaned out. The only thing I won't be able to cut back is my lemongrass, which is that big bushy thing there. I've cut lemongrass back before in the winter and it didn't come back. I've left the lemongrass and it's come back, and then I trimmed. I'm going to try that and see if it survived. I don't know, with us having such a horrible freeze, if it did. And then I do have, I had some spearmint in here. Oh, this is all asparagus. So I'll be cutting back my asparagus, cleaning out the grass and stuff like that. So there's not a whole lot I can plant in here just for the fact that I have asparagus in here. I do have asparagus seeds that I probably will spread in here to make this more of a full asparagus bed. I do have, let's see, back here, a raspberry that survived that has sprouts. I took the cattle panel down off of that too. I'm just going to use wire to train my berries on. I'm going to plant my other 2 berries back here. And then that way it's easier for me to shade cloth because the sun rises from over here and it sets over here in the summer. So if I shade cloth it, if it gets too hot, it should protect the plants from burning, but they'll get a good amount of summer sun. So we'll see how that goes. Plans, tons and tons of plans. So wish me luck.